What's going on, guys? JPP2 here. Hope you guys are enjoying your Friday. And for today's gameplay, we have an Adventures Pranks versus a Branded Dragon Mates, with my opponent playing Branded Dragon Mates going first. Now, thankfully, I did start with an Ash in my hand, and I will be able to Ash Blossom the Branded Fusion. Now, again, guys, if you guys are new, never ever Ash Blossom the Branded Opening Search for the Aluber, nor Ash Blossom the search for the branded fusion off of the Aluber. You always want to save your Ash Blossom for the branded fusion. Now this guy started with everything in his hand. He even had the Dragon Maid in his hand to search for the changeover. And with this, he goes for the branded fusion play. Now I was a little bit worried in this scenario, okay? The reason for me being worried is that if he had another dragon monster in his hand to use the changeover with and go into Shiyu first, I would not have been able to Ash Blossom this branded fusion because Shiyu, as you guys know, is an Omni Negate, right? It would have negated out the Ash Blossom. I was pretty worried for that, but thankfully he did not go into that. He went into fusion instantly. So with that, we Ash Blossom, and Ash Blossom actually resolves for me, so this guy does not go +5. With that, he goes into changeover. Don't know why. He did have the cards required to go into Shiyu first, but he chose to go into branded fusion first, or putting the Omni on the field, which is really bad. Now this, mind you, is a Diamond 2 gameplay. This mistake happened in Diamond 2, so yeah. With that, he goes into Shiyu, activates Albion from the grave. He pitches out the Branded in High Spirits, recycles out the Albion, and passes his turn over. My turn, I actually managed to draw into Skill Drain, which is actually a pretty good draw because this guy will not be able to go into his combo after I go get the Skill Drain on the field going, right? On standby phase, Shiyu activates, pulling a dragon monster from the graveyard and putting it on the field. I'm okay with that. He gets the chamber on the field. Chamber is going to trigger, searching for another spell card. He goes for Hospitality. I'm okay with that. With that, we have the adventure combo in our hand, so I'm going to Foolish Bear out the Enchantress, activate the Enchantress Banisher to search for my right, and I'm going to activate right in the hopes that he uses the Shiyu Negate on my activation of right. Now, once again, guys, don't care much for it. If he uses it, that's good for us. If he doesn't, I get a free monster on the field. The only thing I was worried about at this point was Ash Blossom or Maxi, because I cannot play past those two cards. So there it is. He uses the Shiyu's Negate right there on the right. Now, once again, if you guys are new, do not ever do this, okay? If you are playing Dragon Mates, do not ever waste your Shiyu Negate on the right activation. You want to either pop out the Faithful Adventure on activation or on the summon, on the trigger itself. Because if your opponent has another right in their hand, you basically just threw your Omni Negate away for nothing. Because the Omni Negates, they negate the activation itself. So that way, the game thinks that you technically did not activate the right this turn, so you could go into another copy of right if they negate out the activation itself. So with that, he gets the House Dragon Maid. I'm okay with that. I go into my card search lock first, so we go into our Colossus. I did this because in case this guy had a Maxi, I wanted to bait on the Maxi first, right? Thankfully, did not have it. With that, we start going off into our Prankers combo. Normal out the Lamseas and start going into my full combo. Thankfully, did not have Ash Blossom either, so I get my full combo going. Search for Pranks, pitch out Panday, get the Dropsies. We're gonna get the Panday back into our hand by tributing out our Doodle-Doo. Now, over here, I will be going through 2 cycles of Doodle-Doo because the Cosmic Cyclone in my hand is a pretty useless card right now, so I would rather get the draw off of the Roxy's with the Banish, right? I was hoping to draw into some combo extension, maybe even Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion would allow me to OTK the guy this turn itself. So I draw into Harpy's Feather Duster, not that great of a card again, but we take what we get, right? With that, I don't bother going into battle phase, because in battle phase this card will bounce out and he's going to be able to put a dragon monster from the graveyard, from the hand onto the field or graveyard, and I do not want to deal with that. So I just skip my battle phase. With that, I just end my turn, activate my pranks, recycle 3 cards, draw into an anti-spell fragrance. Okay, pretty late. Was hoping to draw into this before instead of the Harpy's Duster, but that's okay. On the opponent's draw phase, we activate Bow Wow, obviously to target down the 2 cards we need for the Butler and put them in our hand. Opponent does nothing in response to everything, so I'm pretty good at this point. He activates the changeover, he bounces out the chamber to get the changeover into his hand. And with that, he's gonna activate Dragon Maid. Now, Dragon Maid's, the House Dragon Maid states that if a Dragon Maid card you control gets bounced out, you can pop 1 card on the field. Now, he chose the worst target to pop, right? We are under the protection of Bow Wow Bark, so our Prankist monsters are immune to destruction through card effects. We don't care for that. He could have gone for the Colossus pop, which would have forced me to banish out one of my Thunder cards in the graveyard, sure, but like that's just stupid. Like that does nothing. So he's gonna activate Albion from the graveyard, pitch out Retribution, and recycle out the Albion. He's gonna activate the Retribution. He's gonna get the Fusion back into his hand from the banishment of it. He activates Fusion again, and this time goes into Albion. Albion is going to be able to activate, put the Lube on the field. He chain blocks the Albion activation through the Romarin in the graveyard, right? We don't care much for it. We have Skill Drain active, so I just pop on Skill Drain at this point. I do not want to deal with any more monsters. Like, as long as the Mirror Jade does not come on the field, I'm okay with that. We don't care much for it, right? With that, he pitches out a Garden Rose Maiden. Okay, I'm okay with all of this so far. Goes into changeover, and at this point I trigger out Pandemonium in response to the changeover. Because think about this, guys. If he has a way to activate, he can activate Shiyu once Shiyu comes in the field, although it will be negated, you could still activate it. It's not like MPen where you can't even activate the special summon cards. So I did the Pandemonium play right here because in case he had a way to activate Shiyu and negate out my Pandemonium and then make the Shiyu leave the field somehow, I did not want to deal with that, because if Shiyu leaves the field after it in the chain that it negates our Pandemonium, it is going to go through and we will not be able to go into our Butler, right? I do not want that happening. That's the reason why I chained my Pandemonium to the activation of Changeover. Skill Drain is not a be-all card that, can help you instantly win games. Yeah, in some situations, it does help you instantly win games, but branded players can play around that. So, not branded, most decks can play around Skill Drain, but you get my point, right? Did not want to have that happening to me. So he gets Shiyu face-up attack, we get all our graveyard activations going. Now keep in mind, turn 1, this guy started with an opening, right? So he does have opening in the graveyard that he can use to negate 1 pop on his fusion monster. So you gotta keep track of the cards in the opponent's graveyard as well. I've told you guys this a bunch of times. So I have to pop my Butler twice to be able to pop my opponent's field completely. So with that, nothing happens. We get our full graveyard activations, we get Roxy's, we get Dropsies, and I will probably be going for 2 Dropsies plays because once again, Totally Awesome is going to be online on my next turn if he does not manage to pop either of my Dropsies, right? He goes directly into battle phase, and it's at this point we use both our Butler pops. So that's going to be the first Butler pop, that's going to be the second Butler pop. So Skill Drain does not affect us. Both Butler pops will trigger because Butler is leaving the field, and on the chain resolution is going to show that Butler did get popped twice, and since it was not on the field, the second pop does go through. So with this, the opponent will probably end up using the opening. So there it is, he used up the opening, and then on the second pop, his whole field gets popped. With that, the opponent just scoops out the game. I don't know, he still had his normal summon, but apparently did not want to play the game afterwards or did not have anything, and with that, we win. That's going to be it for today's gameplay, guys. Hope you guys do enjoy these kind of videos, and if you do, please consider hitting the like button, subbing to my channel for more daily prank video uploads, And if you guys are interested in the live version of all of this, I do live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/jpbduel. Link along with my schedule and a link to my Discord will be in the video description itself for you guys to check out. This is JPBduel signing off for today. I'll be seeing you all in the next video, guys. Peace!